Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Feliz cumpleaños, Vanesita. Feliz cumpleaños a ti.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us on this special day. We are here to honor Specialist Vanessa Guillen and to hold a space for healing, but most importantly, a place to celebrate who she was and the impact that her young life has had on our women veteran community. I'm Kim Bailey, founder of Invisible Combat.
And I'm Dee James, Chief of Operations.
And I'm Carrie Jeter, founder of Freedom Sisters.
Invisible Combat started as a way to bring mental health awareness and holistic healing to our veteran community while discussing the need to practice self-compassion. Invisible Combat developed into a community where each of us can feel less alone. When Vanessa Guillen went missing, we launched the Justice for Vanessa Guillen Facebook group. We had an outpouring of women veterans and civilian allies who wanted to host vigils, lead protests, and help support us in the fight for justice for Vanessa.
At Freedom Sisters, Vanessa Guillen's story was heartbreaking. For the past year, I have been sharing stories of our sisters in service to showcase our strength and resilience. After hearing so many stories of survivors, I wanted to celebrate Vanessa's life in a special way. And personally, as a mother of a child who just turned 21 on September 29th, 2020, my heart aches for Vanessa's mother. And I want to not only share Vanessa's story, but also support a mother, Gloria Guillen, whose love is everlasting.
Invisible Combat's focus has always been mental health awareness, and I immediately realized there was re-traumatization for many military sexual trauma survivors, and we needed to work hard to ensure there was a healthy balance of mental health support, awareness, and advocacy. And on a personal note, Vanessa's story truly resonated with me as a survivor, an Army veteran, and a woman of color. I knew I could not stay silent.
Vanessa's tragedy catapulted my personal journey to advocate for justice and change in the military policy. I felt compelled to join the fight and to speak up and support the rest of our community who was deeply hurting. I knew that I was not the only one hurting and reliving my own trauma, and I could not stand on the sidelines. Cuando escucho la voz de mamá Guillen, yo escucho a mi propia madre. Cuando escucho la voz de Lupe, escucho a mis propias hermanas. Cuando miro la fuerza con cual luchan por justicia, miro a toda mi gente latinoamericana demandando justicia por nuestro pueblo. Invisible Combat's mission to emphasize mental health awareness and personal community healing was a perfect fit for me, not only personally, but professionally. It is my honor to join Kim and so many other strong women in veteran organizations in the journey for change.
With COVID-19 and all the other circumstances surrounding 2020, we wanted to collaborate in a powerful way to honor Vanessa Guillen's life. We have seen parades, songs, virtual parties, but we wanted to do something much bigger than that to celebrate the life of our sister.
So we planned this event and called upon some pretty special guests who not only are vested in this fight for justice, but also in community healing and ensuring Vanessa's legacy continues.
And since all three of us served in the United States Army, we first and foremost want to honor our sister, Vanessa, and show the love and support to the Guillen family.
And in addition, we come today to share the special victories and celebrate our wins in our fight for all military sexual trauma survivors with love, hope, and healing messages.
So for the next 60 to 90 minutes, you will hear from our guests like Crystal Romero, Joanna Sweat,
Sherman Gillums, Pam Campos, Sharissa Jackson,
Noel Rodriguez, Mike Robles, and 2 special musical performances by Gabriela Villanueva and Shane Owens.
Well, ladies, shall we get this event started?
I'm ready, and I'm excited to hear about and discuss ways to move past trauma and pain, to celebrate the life of this young soldier, and to continue to honor her legacy through community healing and advocacy for justice.
Vanessa Guillen, we hold you in our hearts, and we will not quit. We will never give up, and we will never leave a fallen comrade behind. I am Vanessa Guillen's legacy.
I am Vanessa Guillen's legacy.
I am Vanessa Guillen's legacy.
My name is Joanna Sweat, and I am a United States Marine Corps veteran. I served from 1998 to 2007. I actually joined the Marine Corps as a married mother of one. Within my first 24 months of service, I had been sexually assaulted 3 times by 3 different male Marines, ones that were not only my peers, but people I had once considered friends. I had also learned after my first assault that there was no recourse or punishment for males that assaulted women in the Marine Corps, unless we, women, wanted to risk our own reputations or careers in the Marine Corps. I kept my pain a secret, carried on, and moved on with my career. It was not until that I left the service that I realized how badly these assaults had weighed down on my life. Through counseling and a variety of empowerment experiences I was able to take part of in my veteran life, I finally started to heal. My healing came in the form of testimony. I started working in advocacy for veterans, and the more women I met, the more similar stories I started to hear about sexual assault and harassment. And it wasn't limited to the Marine Corps. And it wasn't limited to just women victims. Many women and men from every branch of service, unfortunately, have had many of the same experiences that I had endured over a nearly 10-year career. From working in advocacy, I recognized that the best impact I could really have would be to get on the court all the way and start learning about political processes as far as improving legislation and holding our representatives accountable to protect service members who have been sexually assaulted and harassed during their military service, and finding ways to help change the culture within the military by speaking out about the things that are just honestly horrendous when it comes to male toxic behavior in the Marine Corps and other branches of services as well. As a co-founder of Vets Forward in Arizona, I work very hard to create a new community of empowered veterans, ones that are comfortable sharing their narratives to the total populace, not just military and veteran communities. The goal is for the entire nation to be appalled, not just during huge tragedies such as the recent loss of Vanessa Guillen. Her death struck many of us right in the gut, and we have collectively decided that we will not allow her death to be in vain, and it is time for us to make sure our service members are protected in service and have due process and justice for crimes committed against them. In fact, we demand it. And we know we cannot rely on the military system alone to help change that culture, because we cannot trust the powers within to make those changes when they have continually opted to ignore, unprotect, or silence victims all across the military.
By now you know the story. Specialist Guillen was murdered in an arms room on Fort Hood on April 22nd, 2020. For her family and loved ones, There is the memory of an outstanding young soldier and the terrible belief that she had been sexually harassed by someone in her chain of command. After Specialist Guillen's sister reported that Specialist Guillen was sexually harassed but afraid to report for fear of retaliation, hundreds of current and former military members, women and men, shared their stories of sexual harassment, assault, and fears of retaliation under the social media hashtag I am Vanessa Guillen and hashtag I am Vanessa.
I was sexually assaulted overseas in 1992 by a senior NCO. Reporting through my chain of command was my only option, and nothing was done. I was told that any pursuit for justice and accountability would ruin his career. Despite being a highly motivated soldier who was good at her job, retaliation still impacted my career. I did not speak openly about my military service or assault till 2015. These stories we bring to you are like broken records. In '92, the same year I was assaulted, my mentor, Diane Dennis, testified before the Senate Armed Services Committee about the same very topic. She and others made it clear that Tailbrook was the tip of the iceberg. Today, I testify before you, 27 years later, working tirelessly with a powerful grassroots movement that has converged in the fight for justice for Specialist Vanessa Guillen, a 20-year-old soldier whose whole life was ahead of her and should have never died.
But I have heard in my own district from victims an inability to get information about why something was dismissed, an accusation was dismissed, why there was no further investigation, leaving victims even more confused, leaving victims even more distraught, feeling like there is no justice. And this is for assault, much less for harassment. This is why I do support our efforts to look at innovative ways to reform the system.
Anything. No justice. Being here today is somewhat justice for me. Speaking to you all is justice for me.
So we will be introducing in the next few days a new piece of legislation that is comprehensive, that is going to provide that cases of sexual harassment and sexual assault be taken out of the chain of command, that sexual harassment be punishable as a specific article within the Uniform Code of Military Justice, that investigations of sexual harassment be taken on by trained professionals, not just someone else in your unit who may be, quote, helping out. We were further going to require that survivors have the ability to file a complaint through the special Catch a Serial Predator program within the military now that is confidential but allows the victim to place her or his information on this website. And if they determine that there's a match, that there is yet another incident where a victim has been injured or assaulted by the same predator, it oftentimes helps the victim want to take these cases public. We're also requiring in this bill that the General Accountability Office review the SHARP program within the military. I personally do not have confidence that the program that we have been using is doing what it needs to do. So I say to the Guillen family, you have our promise that we are going to make sure that Vanessa's life has not been lost in vain, that you can proudly be reminded that her presence is going to be on every military base as it is transformed into an institution that protects our service members, men and women.
Buenos días a la familia Guillen. Soy Verónica Escobar, yo represento a El Paso y les quiero dar mi pésame Como madre ni puedo imaginar el dolor, ni lo puedo imaginar. Pero quiero decirles a ustedes que no están solos en su dolor y no están solos en su lucha. Y les quiero dar las gracias por todo lo que han hecho para elevar tantas voces. Estamos aquí por la lucha de ustedes. Gracias.
How many more must suffer and go through a nightmare of sexual violence? For Congress, the Senate, and the President to realize we need the I and Vanessa Guillen bill to pass. How many more must die for justice? Because it does not matter if I lose my voice screaming, because I'm doing this for Vanessa and for the survivors of sexual violence.
Esta va por ti, Vanessa. Que se escuche hasta el cielo. Anhelaba ser soldado y al ejército se unió. Vanesita se llamaba la joven que cruel murió. Sus padres zacatecanos de apellido Guillen. La raza llora por culpa del que tu vida acabó. Pero no descansaremos, que se escuche nuestra voz. Un pueblo muy indignado al ver cuál era tu suerte allá por el río León. Se confirmó de tu muerte, justicia piden tus padres, basta el abuso, respeten. Vanesita, Vanesita, México americana, valiente mujer soldado, parte de esta gran nación. Vanesita, Vanesita, todos somos como tú. Vanesita, Vanesita, México americana, valiente mujer soldado, parte de esta gran nación. Vanesita, Vanesita, todos somos como tú. Ojalá tu alma descanse mientras perdonas a aquellos que dieron fin a tu vida. Con tan solo 20 años cumpliste con tu misión. Ay, que los perdone Dios. Vanesita, Vanesita, México americana, valiente mujer soldado, parte de esta gran nación. Vanesita, Vanesita, todos somos como tú. Vanesita, Vanesita, México americana, valiente mujer soldado, querías defender tu nación. Vanesita, Vanesita, todos somos como tú.
To all the female veterans of the United States, I stand with you with my love and support. Together, we will find justice for Vanessa Guillen and all the other victims. Stay strong, don't lose the faith. Your friend, Gabby Villanueva.
Sherman Gillums. I served for 12 years in the United States Marine Corps. During that whole time, I had a daughter who at the time I got out of the Marine Corps was 2 years old, but she had seen enough of the Marine Corps through her life, even after that, because I spent a lot of time at Camp Pendleton and being around Marines. So she grew up around the Marine Corps and around the military. So it didn't surprise me when she graduated from high school and decided to put in an application for the Naval Academy. What shocked her was that they accepted her. She went through the preparatory school first and eventually was given an appointment to Annapolis. And so she's there now training to be either a Marine officer or a Navy officer. Right now she's a midshipman. undergoing the process, which will be a 4-year process. So essentially, she's carrying on the legacy. I saw enough of the Marine Corps to understand a bit of what she's to expect, but she's going to have her own experience. And so I expect that Kayla will learn the military, not just based on what she's already seen, but what she'll see in the future. And that's a big part of why I have a great interest in not only her experience, but the experience of our young people, particularly women. So Specialist Vanessa Guillen was, it was a sad conversation I had to have with my daughter, because firstly, I could identify with Vanessa's father in that you expect your daughter to go into the military and be in one of the safest places a young lady can be at the beginning parts of her life. And my daughter is at that point right now. So in that way, I identified with the father as much as one could without having to undergo the actual hardship. So when I sat down with my daughter, I approached it from the perspective of being a dad who understood that you're sending your daughter into what's going to be a great experience in most cases. But if there's ever that time when something happens, you can come talk to me. And I know Vanessa spoke a little bit with her family. I think what she didn't understand, though, is that you do have rights. You do have rights to speak up for yourself. And even if you feel like you're in a situation where nobody will listen to you, if you say it enough times, somebody will listen. And if you know who to turn to, or if you have people to turn to, they'll carry your voice forward. That didn't happen in Vanessa's case. And I wanted Kayla to understand that if she's ever in that situation, I will make sure that she has a voice and she will be heard. To all of the parents, to those who are in uniform right now, trying to make it a better place and a better experience for those who will follow, to all the activists out there who have given Specialist Vanessa Guillen a voice, and all the others who've lost and hadn't had a voice, we need you to do this. This military belongs to you. We're not a secret society. We're here to protect and serve. And we do our job better when it's transparent, when you know what we're doing, and when you feel like it's a place for all of us to go and serve our country. We're a better military when it feels open for anybody who wants to raise his or her right hand and serve. So I encourage you all to keep doing the hard work of giving a voice to those people who were vulnerable at one point, or who were voiceless at one point. The only way their lives matter beyond what happened to them is to take up the cause of giving their life meaning. Even if it meant they lost their life and we had to have change follow that, their life will have greater meanings through your work. So continue that work, please.
Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. When you at this day, when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When I dare to challenge the system that would relegate us to victims and stereotypes with no clear historical backgrounds, no hopes or talents, when I questioned that method of portrayal, a different path opened up for me. The path to my destiny. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. If it's meant for you, I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Now, this is your time. The light of new realization shines on you today. Howard's legacy is not wrapped up in the money that you will make, but the challenges that you choose to confront. As you commit to your past, press on with pride and press on with purpose. God bless you.
This is not about a movement, it's about progress. Hashtag ending MST.
Yeah, I got involved with the Vanessa Guillen movement because I felt our voices weren't being heard by the mass media, by Latino celebrities, politicians. I felt they were being way too quiet, so I decided to use my platform and raise awareness, use my voice to spread the word about Vanessa Guillen and justice for Vanessa Guillen. So I took it personal because I felt for a long time, Latinos, we have not been heard. You know, we scream, we shout, and we seem to be ignored. And I took that personal. So I decided to start doing videos and raise awareness for justice for Vanessa Guillen.
I would say the biggest message, and I know people hear this all the time and they think it's so cliche, but it's so, so true. The message is it is okay to not be okay. And I wish someone had told me that years ago, particularly coming back from Afghanistan, my 4th deployment, knew I was in trouble, but still wanted to be this strong mother, strong officer, strong clinician, living in shame, living in disappointment. And I didn't know that it was okay just to not be okay. But let me tell you, when you give somebody that permission to not be okay, it's like giving them air to breathe.
Vanessa's story has inspired me. You know, at 19, I was working in an arms room, and I know how difficult it can be, you know, at such a young age to try to defend yourself, you know, when it comes to your chain of command. You know, you kind of have to just suck it up and go with whatever they tell you. So I saw a lot of myself in her.
Vanessa's story has inspired me in a number of ways, most profoundly as a father of 2 daughters. And there is a possibility she may entertain the idea of going into the military. And rather than that conversation be filled with fear and uncertainty, I would rather it be filled with hope and optimism.
And I was personally impacted. I've been organizing veterans for several years. This isn't new. And so I think what is new, however, was the determination of an entire community of the Guillen family. And for me personally, it reminded me, and I think many others, that we have power, and we have power in numbers, and that we can organize for change and for justice, so that Vanessa Guillen's death is not in vain.
I hope that we can collectively find a way to get to a point where it just does not exist, where it's just a history that we can learn from, where the painful history of those who endured the suffering of that time can be looked at as something that was a previous part of humanity, something that we decided to stop and get past together.
You know, as service members, we have rights too, you know, and it's this abuse of authority that happens within the military, you know, and command investigating themselves. You know, that doesn't happen in the civilian world. So why do we have to adhere to those, you know, guidelines?
That's for the People has been campaigning with the foremost goal of flanking and being in solidarity with the Guillen family. We believe that Gloria Guillen is right in calling out generals and congressional members who have not done their job in protecting us and instead protecting their own careers. And so this isn't new. I've been in offices with Congress members where they've heard the traumatizing stories. And for us, if you've served in the military, you know that sexual violence, racism is part and parcel to military service. And so until it is deemed as such, then people are not going to be able to report it, right? So what does accountability look like at the top? The fact that little to no generals are ever fired is why this has become so normalized. And so for us, fundamentally, Congress must stop treating generals like their golf buddies and actually make them pay with their careers. We must stop making misogyny and racism a training tool in the military, from basic training all the way. We see that it spills over into veteran organizations and the VA.
The biggest thing that I want to see from this is that women can see that they should no longer be afraid to be able to speak their truth.
For all you advocates of Vanessa Guillen, keep fighting. Don't be discouraged. Keep making noise. Our voices are being heard. And if you believe that our voices aren't being heard, I'm here to tell you they are being heard.
We have a lot of power to finally be heard, and we can do it through healing, through community, and really investing in our community's power. So on my end, my advice to anyone is you're not alone. Believe in your power. Everyone has something to give. Everyone has something to give the movement. And I think we can do this. I really believe it, as hard as it is. And so that's why I'm here, and I'm honored to fight along so many warriors for justice. And yeah, thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Shane Owens, and we want to dedicate this song in memory of Specialist Vanessa Guillen. 19, number on his back, voted captain of his high school football team. He took us all the way to state, got a scholarship to play down in Tennessee. He could catch, he could throw, he could run, he could go like you never seen. 19. But on the day those twin towers came down, his whole world turned around. He told them all, I can't play ball, there's a war on now. He marched right in with a few good men and joined the Marines at 19. Now he's the boy next door. They used to carry your bags at the grocery store. He's somebody's son in a hole with a gun in a foreign land, trying to hold on to his American dream. 19. There's a sniper out there in the dark somewhere, and a soldier's down. And we need someone who can duck and run and get him out somehow. Won't one good man raise his hand and take one for the team? How about you? 19. He's the boy next door. They used to carry your bags at the grocery store. He's somebody's son in a hole with a gun in a foreign land, trying to hold on to his American dream. 19. They brought him home today with a big parade down Main Street. He got a Purple Heart and a Silver Star, soldier gave a speech. He could catch, he could throw, he could run, he's the one that rescued me. He could have played for Tennessee, Yeah, he was only 19.
I pray that God will grant the Guillen family and the serenity they need to heal. And I want them to know that I and millions across the country stand ready to ensure that they get justice for Vanessa. May she rest in peace. Que en paz descanse.
As we close, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is here today. I believe that Vanessa is watching over us and we are making her proud.
It has truly been an honor to be part of this celebration of life in honor of Vanessa. Hearing my sister's stories and learning of so many organizations that have joined the fight for justice has truly been humbling. To Mamá Guillen, Lupe, Mayra, Rogelio y a toda su familia, gracias por darnos la oportunidad de unirnos en su lucha por justicia.
To the Guillen family, I just want to say that I am proud of you. Not only have you shown true courage, strength, and determination for Vanessa, but you have motivated so many to stand up for justice and to advocate for themselves and others. This movement we see today would not be possible without your bravery and willingness to persevere despite your pain. You inspire me, you motivate me, you encourage me to persevere through adversity and to keep fighting for my own healing and also for my community. Invisible Combat will continue to stay true to our mission of mental health well-being and healing after trauma. We believe in the deepest part of our hearts that we all deserve to heal and not just live, but to thrive.
To our fellow survivors, don't forget to take time for yourself and invest in your own personal healing because you're worth it. This will not be an easy or linear journey, but there is hope, and you have an entire community of support that stands behind and beside you as you navigate this road.
Of where to go to find resources, please contact us at Invisible Combat via Facebook.
If you are looking for a safe and compassionate place to share your journey of healing and overcoming, please reach out to us to be a guest on the podcast at Freedom Sisters Podcast on Facebook.
Para la familia Guillen, su lucha es nuestra lucha. Estamos con ustedes. Happy heavenly birthday, Vanessa. We love you.
Happy heavenly birthday, Vanessa. We love you.
Happy heavenly birthday, Vanessa. We love you.